Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below this video. Speaking of patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out of thanks and appreciation to Retro Bill, More Books, Canna Bear, Fiber Oats, Bogey, Michael Kahn, Rob H, Ben White, Maximum Gravy, John Keys, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Will Brax, Mel B Styles, Troy Shuker, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Neo the One, Rob W, Open Minded, Reese Pound, Del West Watson, Maria Neelands, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, The Real Gabster, Liam Nedrick Jr., Abraham Mohammed, Adrian Quintana, Life is Short, Texas Mike, and David Wayne Foster. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Hello.
That had a hard time getting in here.
I think you had to post a second link for some reason.
I got in through Ballbusters.
I got in through the door.
How's it going, Ken?
Okay.
Yeah, did you hear? I just saw yesterday. I just went on Gems just to see if they were talking about maybe the John thing, you know, the debate. They were talking about pictures from space and the shuttle and how it wasn't so important for them to take a picture of Earth right away. They had time excavating Mars. I was like, I can't stay here. This is insanity. These people, they're lost.
There's a series called Lost in Space.
They're lost in space. You're right.
They're lost in space. Let them have their space. They need it, man.
I always said this was going to bring them right back to space and old arguments, and I was right.
They just don't want to give it up, Neil.
Exactly.
It's like a 30-year-old guy still clutching his teddy bear.
Yeah, you're right. It's a pride thing too.
Well, it's definitely that. Because you can't get a decent conversation out of them.
Right. I know a lot of older American people, like in their 70s, they hold that as like an achievement that we conquered Mars. I mean, we conquered the moon. They don't want to hear that. It's, you know, it was never been done. That was a whole propaganda campaign.
Very patriotic when bullets aren't coming at you at the front line.
Exactly.
Yeah, let them have it. Look, I'm not in the business of debating people for a living anyway. I like to talk to people, and then when it becomes to where it's kind of like a debate, I don't even mind that. Hey, you want to do it? I'll do it. What's, you know, you get ready, I get ready. I mean, I wouldn't mind that at all if the person I'm debating is a human being, honest, is really going to put up a good fight. But if they're zombies and you can't tell where they're going to go and make up stuff as they go, they got nothing to pin them down to.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. They won't debate because they say that we don't accept their proof, which is pictures from space, you know, violation, right, that we always talk about.
But if it's John that we're talking about here, John asked them to pick the proof.
Yeah, I said I would accept whatever evidence they wanted to play, and I would only cite from their references. I mean, I give them every concession that they could hope for, and they wanted to debate whether they were going to debate me or not. That's what it's come to.
Well, take the win, John. You won. They're afraid. They need that dichotomy. They can't debate their own model or their own proof. They'll lose.
They don't have a model. They have our model. And
I know that.
Now they know it.
I know
they know it.
No, I know that. That's the whole point. They can't do it. It's celestial sphere versus celestial sphere, or any other thing versus any other thing. They're going to lose.
They're not getting it yet. They're not grasping it, John. It's going to take a while. Well, or maybe they are. I don't know.
John comes and says, you pick your topic, you pick your proof, I'll debate you. What are they not getting?
Well, I laid it out for him. I said, look, it's not going to be a real debate because the issue isn't debatable. Earth must be flat.
Yep.
That's how you acquire angles. You can't get the angles from a curved surface. Now, you can mix that around and say you can get angles to a curved surface and say reciprocal zenith angles are greater than 180, but you don't subtract from greater than 90 when you do a zenith angle deduction.
Yep. It's
right?
over. No,
yeah,
it's over.
They've confused the height of eye above the ground for greater than 90. And it probably is because you're above the damn ground. These people are insane.
Yeah, and just a combination of, or contrast of using artificial horizons versus the natural horizon with the marine sextant without an artificial horizon attached to it or used by it. All three must minus from 90, and only one has dip correction. And all three give you exactly where the star is in relationship to you. So obviously, it can't divert or veer off of how it's working on all three, which is you need a flat baseline on the artificial horizon, which is at your eye line. It's a artificial flat baseline, right? Horizontal, a pure horizontal.
Still flat, still straight.
Still flat. See, the three methods work out the same, and all three must minus from 90.
That's why they hate the 90. They don't want to hear about the 90. 90's a hated number.
And they have a triangle, a right angle triangle with the two artificials, but they don't want one with the marine. Are you kidding me?
Do you know what they said to me when I brought that up?
What's that?
They said, you're not a geodetic surveyor. I was like, well, I don't have to be. I'm just pointing it out.
Can I quote them? Can I quote the navigators and the people who use the instrument that is geared to measure angles? That's all the sextant is a glorified protractor.
I think you do a great job of quoting them and using their books. What are they talking about?
Didn't they say early on that sextant was made for the globe after we kept saying it could never work on the globe? Well, we're using their tools, their books, their spheres, and they still don't want to debate. Take the win, John.
I've just had one asking me, why am I finding it so difficult to understand that you can have straight lines on the globe to acquire an elevation angle? What am I finding so difficult about that? This is what they're asking.
That's pretty amazing. Hang on. Let that sink in what he's saying. They're asking, say it again, why they can't have straight lines on the globe to get an elevation angle?
He's asking me. We had a little bit of a banter with the old, the sextant, and he was asking me, why am I, as a flat earther, finding it so difficult to understand how we can't have straight lines on the globe in order to measure an elevation angle?
How we can't or can?
Can't, C-A-N-T. He can't have.
Okay.
So obviously maybe they need to do some homework.
It's absolutely crazy what they're coming out with.
Well, they're zombies. I'm telling you, they lose. They might know the score of the local soccer team, but they've lost it on this issue.
Here's the thing.
Definitely.
Show me without cutting the earth in half and using the center of the earth. Show me how you would do it on the surface of your earth that you claim is a ball. Sorry about that. I dropped the phone. That's it.
You dropped the ball there, Neil.
I dropped the phone ball.
That's the fun part, because it's got to be a straight line all the way to the GP of the star to the GP of the observer. It's got to have a dual zeniths, the zenith of the observer and the zenith of the star. And on the curved surface, that would be diverging, pointing to the center. But on the way the angles work and the distances and the way the section works, it's got to be flat all the way. It's a radius from the GP to the observer. Radius lines aren't bent. And,
is it? Sorry,
and if you do it, as Brian has pointed out, you're going to go right through a core to the Earth, and then the arc above you will be longer distance than the actual straight part that went through the Earth. So it falls apart.
Here, here's a perfect thing. Look what Nathan has up right now. The Pink Panther holding an L, and it's just not taking the shape of the globe. It don't work. It don't work.
It looks a little bent at the bottom there. I think he took a little liberty.
Well, they're making it work.
That's okay.
But in reality, you don't.
Square circle.
Hey, I get it now. I'm not chasing them anymore. Let them come. The door's open, like Nathan always says. Wide open door.
Hey, up.
Come
How
on
you doing?
in.
I've been ill, mate. Have you?
You got a wide open mic there in the car.
Have a what?
I thought a bowler was coming in. I said, it's wide open door. They're saying, how you doing? I got excited for a second.
Yeah, it sounded like he was inviting someone from Discord. Nathan's quiet. He must be pushing buttons or getting coffee.
I like Nathan's coffee machine.
Hey, Tenth, I got a question for you. I could be wrong, but I think I remember you saying a long time ago that the actual book about using the sextant, but doesn't it actually say that you need to treat the Earth as though it was flat?
They motionless and still.
I'm sorry, you broke up there.
They say, well, they all say that the measurements come from the center, from the equatorial plane. So they're pretty much telling you it's flat by showing you the diagrams that make a perfect 90 from there. But what they do say is that in celestial navigation, we assume the Earth is motionless and still, and the stars are moving.
Yeah, because they have to say that. That's a fact. They say the same thing when you go to a planetarium, you know.
No,
when on a vacation. Yeah, they say, but well, you know, right now we're going to move the stars and everything, but in actuality, it's the Earth that's moving.
Yeah, well, they're going to say that, but there's a problem with that concession right off the top. Again, here, I'm going to go into baller mode here. If the Earth is a ball and it stopped and the stars are moving, how does that work?
It doesn't?
It doesn't. So that's a stupid thing to assume. They say, well, it's not really stopped. We just have to do it for convenience. Well, why do you have to pretend for convenience when you're trying to figure out reality? So in reality, the Earth is a ball not moving and the stars are moving, or in reality, it's the Earth moving and that's why the star seems to move across the sky. Yeah, but when we do celestial navigation, it doesn't work well that way. So we have to assume the Earth is still, and also that all the measurements at the final tally are coming from the center of the equatorial plane, which gives them a true 90 to minus from. So
that's a great concession. Yep, I was just going to say.
Concessions right there.
Well, here's the thing. What I'm understanding now is that we're wise to all the little tricks and sleight of hand that they've been doing for all these years before Flat Earth became what it is right now on YouTube and other platforms. We're hip to all of their little tricks. Like, for instance, Coriolis. I thought Coriolis was how the water went down your drain. That's what I was taught. Right?
That's chloride in water going down the drain.
But I'm saying that.
No, I know. No,
I didn't know what it was until I came here.
Yeah, I've learned a lot here too. But the point when they show that drain thing and it's the bowl itself, how the water first hits it, they've already proven that.
And then you got Kosho saying that hurricanes move in a straight line. That's not even Coriolis.
That's a real twister there.
And then
you missed my pun.
Oh, twister. and then the other one was they were going to the projectile. I remember that.
That was Zanuck.
Yeah. It's an observation, has nothing to do with the projectile. You're looking at it. It's an observed thing. It's an optical thing.
It's an apparent thing. That's the word you're looking for.
Word, apparent.
Seems to drift.
But it's all optical.
See, that could be debated and, come to a reasonable conclusion about, using a curved baseline to acquire an angle is not possible.
Yeah, no debate.
That's like it's not a debatable issue. And like what I got yesterday when I went over to Jim Panda's server to work out the terms of the debate, pretty much just pick a time, because I give every single concession to them. I let them pick the references. I let them choose the moderator, and I let them choose the platform. They debated me on whether they were going to debate me.
Well, that's telling in itself. They're very trepidatious about this.
Well, John, just to be clear for the audience, are you saying that they refused you as a debate totally, or they're debating as to when they're going to debate you?
No, it come down to Jim Panda saying, well, you're just using a tactic where I'll be defending a model and you'll be talking about a geometric principle. And, on a certain level, that's true, but the model that he's going to be using to debate with is my model. He can't have it. Go get your own damn model. And like he just wasn't, and like they flat out refused to debate me.
But hasn't it been the cry of the other side that we give them a model?
Yeah, I remember. They want us to have a model.
We do.
And if you say, I want to use your model, what's the problem?
Because it's our model.
Well, they don't like looking at the flat plane that they're using for their model.
Take the win, John. Take the win.
It was just so cowardly. I got frustrated about that. I was angry because that's
no success for them.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you consider debating whether you're going to debate someone as a successful debate topic, I mean, yeah, they can take that win, I guess.
Well, it is. That's, at best, they were only ever going to get a draw out of previous debates, and they can't win this one. So what's the only way they can win it? Well, we'll debate. We're debating right now. Are you debating the subject of elevation angles and the celestial sphere, are you? No, we're debating whether or not we'll debate. That's a debate, isn't it? They've got to take something away, right? What are they going to take away otherwise? There was no other way to get a win, and they've perceivably got one out of that, as far as I'm concerned. What better work could they have done? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I agree, Nathan.
I mean, I'm asking. It's not rhetorical. It's not rhetorical. Does anybody think they could have done better than that?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm giving them a little credit for that.
Right, me too. Kudos, lads. Obfuscated beautifully. Well done.
Could I make a suggestion to everyone?
No. No, I've changed my mind. Definitely not. Go ahead.
Right. If we, in comments, just before John says what he has to say, if we in comments, the way they're always commenting on videos and in live chats and all the rest of it, giving this hassle, we should put down hashtag, then the little globe emoji, and then my model with smiley face.
No. See, because we're separated from the rest of the normie world, that would be, as far as I am concerned, an in-joke. Now, I know by calling it an in-joke, that infers that their side is one and the same as our own side. But that is the way I see it. We're all bundled together in this little corner of the internet, anti-flat earthers and flat earthers alike. And as much as I can bitch and moan about how they get all of the publicity in this little corner of the internet, we're one and the same group, right? The pro and con of the same argument. And subsequently, I've forgotten what you said now, Brian. I've forgotten what my point was. What were you saying?
Globe emoji. Globe emoji.
Globe emoji. Right. To the outsider looking in on a hashtag globe emoji my model, right? They don't just they won't just not realise that that is us saying your globe has come from a flat plane, right? Because it's technically an in-joke. It's us telling an anti-flat earther that, yeah, your globe model's come from a flat plane, and they may not actually understand that, but most people wouldn't. It's an in-joke.
Well, I got to go for a little bit, guys. I'll be back here later. But I thought it was a poor show for anybody trying to be reasonable and honest.
Well, we knew they weren't that before you tried.
Yeah, shocking.
Whoa, wait a second. Wait a second, John. Did you expect them to be reasonable and honest? Wow.
Yeah, we all have to lower our expectations of our opponents. We realised that yesterday. If you lower your standards low enough, you'll never be disappointed by them.
That's true. So what do you think of all the space talk that they're having over there? I find it amusing.
Fake. Yeah, they don't want to pull their heads out of the sand in that one. That's fine. Outer space is fake. It's a second law of thermodynamics violation. We breathe gas pressure. Gas pressure requires something to press on, and if what it should be pressing on up in the sky is actually an empty available volume to it, then it will fill it. That's what gas does. It expands in all directions to fill whatever availability of volume it has, and according to them, they've got a massive amount of volume that gas isn't filling. A direct violation of the second law of thermodynamics, aka entropy law. No, gas doesn't just stop at the Kármán line. Gas expands to fill whatever space it's got, ergo space is fake. They want to talk about things travelling to lights in the sky, they're delusional and sticking their heads in the sand. We've been talking about that since about 2017.
Yeah, but they say, who are we? We have never been there. Things operate differently in outer space. Mankind has been there, and this is what they have seen.
Likewise, man has been to Narnia. Lamps work differently in Narnia. You've never been to Narnia, so you can't criticise whether or not there's a pipeline going to the gas lamp when you go through the wardrobe, because you've never been, but men have been. It's definitely real. Narnia's real. So how can you challenge how the gas lamp works in Narnia?
Kind of pathetic when you think about it. Really.
Yeah. Arguing about how a fake place works is absurd. Sorry, go ahead, whoever that was.
I was just saying it generates its own gas because the lamp is alive.
Oh, you actually do want to argue about the absurdity of how a gas lamp in a fake place that doesn't exist works? Are you serious?
No.
Oh, jolly good.
No, he was saying they would say something like that. I think.
Well, Zanuck says there's a valve. Hey, might be a valve.
No. The heliocentric model is quite literally just a violation of entropy law. It stands in direct contradiction to it. You have gas without containment not expanding into a space. PV equals nRT. The volume is space. Well, that's a violation of that gas law. You don't get to say that you've got no a volume that doesn't have the gas expanding into it. That's not how gas behaves.
Oh, dear.
Zanuck also said we first measure the Earth flat, and then the next step is to make it a sphere.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, that is a concession of all concessions. Game over for that guy. He should hang up his gloves. He should not be allowed to debate. The Glober should retire him because he just lost it for all of them.
Lost it, but also simultaneously managed to keep in line with the heliocentric rhetoric. That is how it is detailed. You cannot acquire an angle from a curved baseline. that is a fact. It's two straight lines. So when he details acquisition of an angle from a flat Earth to then turn it into a sphere, that has been the standard practice since 2015 when I got here. I keep talking about Red's rhetoric, arguing with Smokescreen Design about a point that was put forward by Jeranism. And Red's rhetoric takes an angle to a celestial item and then inserts an R value. Ergo, he measures a flat plane and then turns it into a sphere after measuring it flat. That is how it is done. So it's not surprising that Zanuck comes in and tells us how it is done, because that is how it is done. Earth's measured flat. It's as simple as that.
It's the only way it could be done. So you can't knock him for that. He's sticking with the rhetoric.
Exactly. That's been their rhetoric all along. But now we're pointing out, so you've got to measure Earth flat first to get to your sphere assumption. And they say yes. It's like, that's the shocker of all shockers. Well, actually, no, it's more shocking when they say no, because it's not in line with their actual rhetoric, with the celestial sphere and the equatorial plane and the use of angle measurements off that plane. That is what they do. So denying it would be more shocking.
I remember that, Nathan, with your man, Red's rhetoric. I remember he was mumbling through the calculation he was making, and I think he actually stated, if I remember correctly, because this is what he was pulled up on, and now we add in R.
That's correct.
He actually said, yeah, I remember that.
Add in R to the flat plane he's just measured. Now, at the time, we didn't spot it, and neither did Smokescreen, and we didn't highlight it. Subsequent to that, we pointed out, like everybody else, look, you can also do it on a flat plane. They just assume the R value. But that was incorrect. They didn't assume the R value. They took a measurement off a flat plane and then violated the very measurement they took when they inserted the R value. So it doesn't work on a sphere because they wouldn't have got the angle to insert the R value to. If it was curved, it wouldn't be an angle. So they measured it flat and then tried, we just never caught it, to violate the actual measurement they're using.
Yeah, we didn't realize that it had to be flat first. That's the problem.
Yeah, it is a problem, but also very amusing. Now we've realised it. You just don't know how the path to where you will reach the obvious will lead you. And in this case, you know, the obvious was there all along. And that's good, because it doesn't take much cognitive processing to go, here's where they used a flat plane, there's where they used a flat plane, here's where they're using an angle, that's a flat plane. Here's where they're using a flat plane and pretending it's at the centre of a sphere. They're using flat planes all over the place. Check it out.
Yeah, but look at all the arguments we got. Look at how concise they are. If we would have known that right away, who knows? May not be as sharp.